Folks, a shocking case out of Virginia. A black man goes to a mental hospital and he ends up dead. It is shocking, stunning. Irvo Otieno is the man's name. The family just the other day got a chance to actually see the surveillance video of the incident that led to his death. And it is shocking and stunning. His parents describe what they felt watching this 12-minute video.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caroline Ouko. Irvo Otieno is my son. Irvo was 4 years old when we came to the United States. Irvo went to kindergarten here in the United States, proceeded to Tuckahoe Elementary School and Freeman High School, and then went on to college in California. Irvo is as American as apple pie. This is what he knows. This is home for him. And when you're home, you are in a community. We live in a community. We have friends. This young man you see here had a big heart. Irvo was the guy that his classmates drew to. When they needed someone to talk to, he was the listener. My son was tortured, to put it right. I saw the torture. There is no way that Henrico County Sheriff deputies were on him. 7 people, 7 officers on one man. And all this started when my son went to hospital on the 3rd. And that evening, he was taken to jail, whisked from the back of the jail into the hospital. Those 3 days at Henrico County Jail were a horror.
You heard his mom there describe what happened, folks. He was handcuffed, shackled, pinned to the ground by deputies, and was suffocated. So far, 10 people have been charged with second-degree murder in his death, including 7 Henrico County Sheriff's deputies and 3 hospital employees. Joining us right now from New York is Ben Crump. Ben, glad to have you. This is just, I mean, unbelievable. And what the mother described is just crazy. First of all, why was he actually admitted, and how long? What happened to cause him to be admitted to this mental hospital?
Yeah, and Roland, I would let you know from the onset, I'm in the car in New York City, and I'm with the parents of Tyree Nichols sitting in the background of the car, and we were talking about Irvo in Richmond, Virginia, killed in the jail there in Henrico County. And we also today were in Memphis, Tennessee, talking about Gershon Freeman, killed in Shelby County Detention Center. Both of them were having mental health crisis, and they were in the jail, and both of them were naked. Both of them needed a helping hand, and both of them ended up with a death sentence. The video we saw in Richmond, Virginia, my investigator Kareem and I and the family, was just horrific, because Roland Martin, if ever, police officers should know not to put their knee on anybody's neck. It's after George Floyd. But you see in this video where there were, I guess, about 15 sheriff's deputies and hospital personnel in there. He is handcuffed. He has leg iron on. He's face down. And so you scratch your head, because it boggles your mind why they felt the need to use such excessive force on him by putting the weight of those 7 officers on him with a knee on the neck for over 11 minutes, Roland Martin, and charging those officers with second-degree murder, that they literally smothered him to death.
So, and this took place exactly when?
This took place on March 6th, about a week ago. And we saw the video, and the prosecutor is very similar to Tyree Nichols. Let the family see the video first, the videos, I should say, and then the federal authorities are gonna, I guess, watch the video, and then she's gonna make the determination. The city is gonna make the determination when they're gonna release the videos.
Wow, this is again just really just unbelievable. And again, it goes to show you what happens to African Americans, whether they're in police custody, whether they're in jails, or whether they're in mental hospitals.
Exactly, Roland. And you know, how many more of these videos do we have to see before we can get this George Floyd Justice and Policing Act bill passed? You know, my heart is heavy as I'm sitting here with Rovon Wells and Rodney Wells in this car thinking about why did their son have to be a sacrifice to hopefully get this legislation passed. Now we have Ivo Antino. He died in Richmond on video. We're going to see that. We saw the video in Gershon Freeman in Memphis just today. How many more videos do we have to show the American government before they know and finally recognize we have a problem with policing in America?
Indeed, indeed. Ben Crump, we certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
God bless, Roland.
And give our best to Tyree Nichols' family. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Roland.
Shannon, it is, I mean, these things, it's over and over and over again. And when you hear a lot of these Republican legislators who say, oh, we don't have systemic racism, we don't have systemic bias. I mean, these are just things that actually just happen, but they just keep happening to black people. It just keeps just happens to black folks.
So I'm gonna take the politics out of this because this ain't a political thing. This is a folks that don't look like us, not willing to understand, acknowledge, or deal with the fact that racism does still exist. Do we want to think that I raised our children not to see color? My husband and I both. But that's not the world that we live in. So again, politics removed. All folks that don't look like us, I believe, have an issue of understanding the sensitivity, the culture, and just stop being racist. I spoke at a panel, and it was a political forum, and they asked, how do we change the perception of the racism and rampant racism? I said, okay, it's real easy. Stop being racist. Come to the hood. Don't come and talk. Come and listen. We don't have communication. There are some well-intended folks that really don't see themselves as being a part of the problem, but they are. And then there are those that know they're a part of the problem and are happy to continue to be that. We have to get to a place where we can acknowledge that there is racism and address the root cause why, and then just kind of, fix it. Because again, one of those issues where we're still here talking about it, it still exists, whether you want to acknowledge it or not.
But the thing here, Michael, is you can't remove the politics because the politics comes in when you're trying to fix the problem. And we know for a fact, as Ben Crump said with the George Floyd Justice Act, that was Republican Senator Tim Scott who stood in the way. Democrats were on board. It was Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham. They could not get 8 other Republicans in the Senate to move. It died.
Well, not only that, Roland, when it passed the House of Representatives in March of 2021, it passed by a vote of 220 to 212. 212 Republicans voted against the bill, including the black ones. So no Republicans supported the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. You can't get past the politics on this. Now, one of the problems I would argue is that they need to talk about the white people who are unjustly killed by police and flip the script on Republicans and box them in. And they need to bring in the Fraternal Order Police and the International Association of Police Chiefs, because both of those police organizations supported the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, and they need to have Senate hearings and House hearings for them to talk about why it was good for everybody. They said it didn't take away from police officers' rights, and it also protected citizens. They need to bring in white crying mothers whose loved ones were unjustly killed by police and get those white mothers strategically from states that whose senators you need, whose Republican senators you need to get their votes to get the bill passed. The way that they're going about trying to get the bill passed, when the majority of the people who have to vote for what you want don't look like you need to have a different strategy, okay? And that's something that's missing here. Personally, no disrespect to the George Floyd family, I would take George Floyd's name off the bill. I would rename the bill the Law and Order, Justice and Policing Act. I would flip the script on them. Donald Trump ran partly on the platform of law and order. I would talk about how white people are being harmed unjustly by police in their documented cases because every year more white people are shot and killed by police than African Americans. And when you look at Fatal Force, which is the most comprehensive database on police killings from the Washington Post, it tells you each year 50% of the people killed by police are white people. So a lot of people mean well, but to actually get this bill passed in the House and then in the Senate where you need 60 votes and you're going to need at least 9 Republicans to vote for the bill, the strategy that they're using to get it passed is not going to work.
Matt, I think you can rename it. I still think the vote will be the same.
I don't know. I think what Michael said is, so compelling because one of the things I was going to say is I have considerably more clients who are not Black than those who are Black. Part of that is the demographics of where I live. But the reality is the numbers are that, primarily white people are harmed by the police. So I think. But
are white folks speaking up, though?
No, not the way they should, because what I see. Go ahead. I'll yield to Mike.
No, go ahead. You're the attorney. Go ahead. I'm the historian. You're the attorney. Go ahead.
What I see the difference being is that generally white people make everything a one-off, right? So every time a white person gets killed, they don't say that it's a systemic thing against white people. It is with our people. However, in order to make it a more palatable conversation, frankly, you need to include all the people that look like their siblings that are dying in jails and prisons and getting shot by the police, rather than it being a one-off thing. A good example would be, think of that case they had in Minnesota, the young white woman that was killed by the Black officer, right? That was a police brutality case, and they ran all over God's green earth with it because it was a young white woman. But it was still presented like it was an aberration rather than, something that happens pretty frequently. And I think broadening it to show that people of all colors, especially Black people, are being harmed by the police in great number every year is very important to galvanizing that support. But I'll let Michael finish what he was going to say.
Roland, very quickly.
I got about 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
A lot of this has to do with the media. When you read Fatal Force, they document a lot of these police killings, their dash cam videos, their cell phone videos. Where are the cell phone videos? Why isn't the white controlled media showing the videos of white people being shot and killed by police? Because if they know that if they did, there'll be an uprising from white people who will call for it to be changed. But as long as you make it look like it's a Black issue and many white people see African Americans as people who need to be policed as opposed to being protected, they will keep the status quo.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about Blackness and what happens in Black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in Black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.